Good morning and welcome to MIT's first SustainabilityConnect event. This is really a pivotal moment in MIT's history. We're poised to renew and expand the campus with the opportunity to build and renovate to the highest building and energy performance standards using the most efficient design strategies while embracing new technologies addressing system-wide opportunities such as stormwater and land management and advancing sustainable design standards. We're striving to redefine sustainable transportation, that's a shout out for Larry, and for an institute that already boasts a high percentage of single occupancy commuters today. And is Dick in the audience? Is he here yet? Well, I may have to repeat this later on when he gets here because I sat and counted, and today is day 190 of the construction of the MIT Nano Building, which is on track to being LEED Gold certified and positioned to be the most energy efficient clean lab facility in the country, and that's been some good and hard work from that team. The climate change conversation was initiated last fall to stimulate a campus-wide discussion as to how MIT should make a significant positive contribution to confront climate change locally and globally, and this conversation taps into the knowledge and perspective of faculty, staff, and students alike. And the Innovation Initiative was also launched, which targets MIT's ability to solve a range of critical challenges in energy, the health of the planet, human health, and beyond. And the Environment Initiative was initiated to engage a range of connected fields, from cities to oceans, and from engineering to economics, from ecosystems to energy. And these are just a few of the related research and operational activities that are happening within, yet extending beyond the walls of the Institute today. And this morning, you're going to hear from faculty and staff involved in each of these initiatives and how they advance MIT's ambition to create game-changing sustainability solutions both on and beyond our campus. But there's more, because MIT is embedded in a community fabric that is committed to sustainable community development. Cambridge is one of 10 communities participating in the Eco District's Target Cities program, which is designed to amplify and accelerate district-scale community engagement and create replicable models for next-generation urban revitalization. And many of us in this room are working tirelessly to shape this initiative. We have been working with the Cambridge City officials and residents, together with representatives from Harvard and the development community, on grappling with the definition of and what it would take to actually achieve a net zero emissions community. And lastly, the City commissioned one of the most comprehensive climate vulnerability and resiliency studies in the country to inform future growth and development throughout the city. And you will learn more about the findings of this, the unveiling of some of this data this afternoon. And so it's our turn now to grapple with what we do with this new knowledge, along with the embedded uncertainty within these findings as we work to inform our own decisions into the future. You know, we launched the Office of Sustainability just 18 months ago on a platform to position ourselves as a bridge between many of the initiatives that I just referenced, and to really be a facilitator of a process moving forward. And so we launched on this platform of aiming to transform by creating a new and powerful model for sustainable innovation. We launched on a platform that strives to generate a new path forward by responding to unprecedented challenges of a changing planet and an educational landscape. We launched on a platform of innovation and how it can be one that can be created, but also we have to prove ourselves all along the way. And we have no doubt, we know that MIT is positioned to pioneer this way forward. And our opportunity is to create new metrics and new standards in building performance, ecosystem services, education, research, and systems thinking. So at MIT, we have the opportunity to embrace our ability to be a scalable laboratory in which to devise, pilot, implement, and evaluate the best sustainable urban strategies of today and the emerging next-gen strategies for tomorrow. We're positioned to advance the science of climate change and its consequences, understand the impact of climate change on human health, build and test new energy models, develop and test carbon-free technologies such as solar, wind, geothermal power, but also find more efficient ways to use carbon-based fuels through improved building materials design, as well as improved vehicle and power plant technologies. And a commitment to sustainability is a long-term one. This is a really important point. People want this to always be a definition, but what we bring to this as an office is we have to recognize and understand and consciously assess our priorities along the way, which at times can be perceived at odds with one another. And that's the engagement I've had with most of you around this room in the meetings we've sit in with these working groups. And it's the interactions between human health, environmental quality or environmental degradation, and of course, fiscal responsibility. And these are complex, and it requires us to think deeply about how we ensure the growth of our human potential while maintaining the integrity of the natural systems that support it. So the role of the Office of Sustainability is actually not to convince all of you to install as many kilowatt hours of solar power panels as possible and have all of you riding a bicycle to and from campus, though related recommendations may emerge. But rather the role of our office and a commitment to becoming a leading sustainable institution is to build the institutional capacity. And it's a capacity that enables us to understand and develop structures to ensure the MIT community, including each of you, can swiftly and comprehensively identify, analyze, and implement decisions that both serve us today and enable us to thrive in the future. So keep that in mind today as we jump into this recommendation phase. We're not urging to just jump into the solution. We have to understand what's the capacity, what are the trade-offs that we're considering, and how do we continue to keep this moving forward. But then we need to measure our impacts and develop the most reliable and comprehensive metric system possible and return again to the beginning of the process so we're continuously improving and learning and improving again. So I want to also share this with you as a model, as a visual aid to bring into your working group discussions today. And this is a commitment to sustainability is also a commitment to understanding and orchestrating these nested impacts. So when we frame and debate what is possible, we're considering the fiscal, environmental, and human health impacts at varied scales. So we're looking at materials, building, site, campus, city, region, nation, and then of course, the global context. So many of you are working in depth within a particular scale. And so this is one of the big moments I've had being at MIT is just the level of depth and knowledge that each of you bring to the table. But then our role is to make sure that we're nesting that knowledge in this context. Some of you have specific information. I can have in-depth dialogue with some of you on roofing materials, and others we can actually have different dialogue around water systems. And so we must learn to assess how to leverage the biggest impact at each scale. And we will revisit this framework frequently within the working group sessions, both today and moving forward. The other piece which you'll hear more about briefly is the governance structure, and so who's in the room today? So many of you who joined us today are representing your department either as a member of or a resource to one of 8, soon to be 9 sustainability working groups or committees that are in motion this year. And so some of you are even on more than one of our groups, which we appreciate. And so take note is that our office, like I mentioned earlier, we've really begun to build these bridges from the MIT Energy Initiative to all of the work going on in Cambridge, the Environment Initiative, climate change, and then this is our framework to the right is Campus Systems, Living Lab, and Community Collaboration, which is how we organize ourselves. Since we launched in October, we've been bringing you through a process that has called upon each of you to assess current conditions, to study best practices. We've been looking at our peer institutions, at industry expertise. We've been seeking inspiration through a variety of faculty, through best practices, new theory. We've been looking at how best to connect across ideas and groups. And then we're starting the process of now drafting recommendations to move towards implementation. So today is choreographed in true MIT fashion. We are attempting to recreate what Building 20 was once referred to as a magical incubator. We've organized the day so as to orchestrate what Jane Jacobs once described as knowledge spillovers. And we as an office and as a community embrace the belief that innovation emerges from collisions. So we invite you to collide with one another today around the common challenge of determining how can MIT be a game-changing force for sustainability in the 21st century. It's truly an amazing group of people that are in this room today. As you look around, if you haven't met one another, I've had the fortune of actually meeting everybody in this room at some point in just my 18 months here, and I feel so fortunate. I mean, this is merely the launching point for the question, but we will continue to revisit this question many times today and in the months and years ahead. And we are truly on this path and committed to becoming one of the leading sustainable campuses in the world. It's an ambitious vision, I know, but it's one I have no doubt we will be able to achieve. I've only been at MIT, I know, 18 months, but I now have the MIT spirit. It's really infused in my system, and it's contagious. I've never felt so confident about being able to develop such a grand vision before. I studied a lot of MIT. I read everything I could get my hands on in my first number of months here, and this is one of the quotes that really stood out to me, which is, as the world calls out for answers to questions more complex than ever before, MIT catalyzes change. It delivers solutions and innovates for tomorrow.